Hello, dear friend. Welcome to our YouTube online law school. This channel is dedicated for LLB entrance examination, and month of June is going to be start. There are several entrance examination for various prestigious university in which you want to pursue your career in field of law, and for this purpose we have to understand that the phenomena of the entrance examination of LLB degree is classified into the four part. We can say first one is language test, second one is general studies, third one is legal aptitude, and fourth one is general aptitude. Dear friends, for our convenience we try to cover the whole syllabus into 100 lectures. The first lecture is an introductory class, and this is going on in which I am saying to you that your entrance examination paper consists of the four major parts, that is language test, general studies, legal aptitude, and general aptitude. Meaning thereby, a question consists to test your language skills, your general awareness skill, your legal aptitude, your legal reasoning skill, and then general aptitude, general reasoning skill. These four sets of skill is going to be tested in your entrance examination. If we talk about the weightage, then we will find that the language test, the questions which asked for check out your skills in language, command in language, your comprehension skill of language is of 20%. 20% weightage is given there, and if you see, there is 10% for Hindi language and 10% for English language. What type of question would be asked for checking your skill, that your language skill? First and foremost is vocabulary. Your vocabulary should be strong. Then comprehension. Your comprehension skill is also going to be tested. Then if we come on the second part, that is general studies, which in general parlance consists 30% of the weightage, meaning thereby from general studies and language you will get 50% questions, and remaining two part, that is legal aptitude and general aptitude, this part consists another 50% weightage. Here some details of subject is given for the purpose of general studies. If you see, there is a broad classification of subjects consists in general studies, that is geography, further classified into physical geography, Indian geography, world geography. There is environment also. Then for the history, in history there is modern history, ancient history, medieval history, world history. Further some current affairs, general awareness, economics, science. These subjects, question from these subject would be asked in your entrance examination paper. Then for the general aptitude, general aptitude means reasoning and quantitative aptitude. In reasoning you will get syllogism, you will get, you can say, sitting arrangement. Sitting arrangement is a vast topic. Directions, question related to directions, question relating to word arrangement, words arrangement. And then quantitative aptitude, in which you have to calculate profit, percent, interest, volume, meaning thereby mathematics of standard class 10th standard mathematics is going to be asked in these papers. And then if we find the legal aptitude, then there is a legal reasoning. Some question would be asked that A is commit some act or doing or act in a such manner, whether it is offense or not. You have to understand the basic principles of law. There is some legal maxim which is also very important to understand the legal principles. And most important part is the constitution, the supreme law of the land. We can say the agreement between the citizens and the state, that is a constitution. So this is all about the weightage and a pattern, and the question is going to be asked in LLB entrance examination. So it is all about the 100 hours plan to prepare for our entrance examination. In the first part, when we are discussing here, that is the introduction class in which this is going on. If we talk about the section legal aptitude, because we in our previous education from 10th to graduation, we have studied several subjects. We understand what is history, what type of syllabus consists in physical geography, what type of discourse we have to understand in world geography, what is difference between medieval history, ancient history. So we are already aware about all these type of circumstances or all these type of scenario. But a legal aptitude is something new for those students who is going to take part in entrance examination of LLB and have no legal background. So dear friend, in legal aptitude, the most important thing we have to understand, that is law of torts. We have to understand what is tort. Tort is a type of wrong, or wrong which is not moral. Wrong is something legal, or legal wrong is called tort. And where there is a wrong, there is a remedy. Then we discuss the types of law. What type of law is there? There is several aspects to classify the law. Sometimes we can say law is of two types. First one is substantive law. Substantive law. Substantive law means which defines rights. Rights of what? Rights of any type of right, such as right relating to post, relating to office, relating to property, relating to personal life and liberty. This type of right is something a substantive law or a substantive rights. And the second type of law is a procedural law. Procedural law, the law applicable in day-to-day proceeding, in a court, day-to-day court proceeding. Then further, if in a common parlance, we can say the law is of two types. One is of civil and another is of criminal nature. A law governing criminal law is called criminal law. What type of act is punishable? Defined in criminal law. What type of act or omission is punishable or offense is defined in a criminal law. Person who commit that offense, the punishment is prescribed in criminal law. How the punishment will be inflicted on that accused on whom allegation is that he has committed such offense, that procedure is also come in the ambit of criminal law. The most important two terms which every law student has to know, that is actus reus and mens rea. Actus reus and mens rea means, actus reus means guilty act. Suppose A shot fire from a gun to murder B. with intention to kill B, then the act of firing the gun is a guilty act, and his intention to kill B because B is not returning his money of 5,000 rupees. Therefore, A kill B by gunshot. A is guilty by firing the gun on B. That act is actus reus and his intention is mens rea. Again, try to think with a very complicated example. Suppose A is husband, B is wife. Husband beat wife with intention to kill. With intention to kill. Husband beat her wife, his wife or her wife. Intention to kill. Intention to kill B. Fortunately, B is faint. B is faint. And when B is faint, A, who is husband, thinks that his wife is dead, and therefore he packed the dead body of B in a bag. Although the B is not dead, he is alive but in faint condition. So A believes that B is dead, and therefore he packed B into a bag and pour into the pond or throw into the pond. In pond, due to inhalation of water, due to non-supply of oxygen, B is dead. Whether offense that A murder B is complete, that the chain is complete or not, whether the requirement to punish A within the principle of actus reus and mens rea is completed. Answer is clearly no, because when A has intention to kill B, initially A with intention to kill B beats B, but B is fortunately saved at that time, meaning thereby in the first stage, in stage 1, there is a guilty mind to kill, but that act is not complete, means there is no absence of guilty act. There is absence of guilty act. And for criminal justice system, meeting of guilty mind and guilty act is necessary. So when A with guilty mind beats B to kill with intention to kill her sorry, in this situation, meeting of guilty mind and guilty act is not done. Then after, when A supposed that his wife is dead, he packed her in a bag and thrown in a pond. Here B got dead due to suffocation in water. Here again guilty act is there. Guilty act is there because B, who is wife of A, is dead in the pond. But at the time when A throws the bag into the pond, there is absence of guilty mind. There is no intention while a man who throwing the bag into the pond, at that time he don't have intention to kill B by throwing her into the pond. Therefore, again, there is absence of meeting point of guilty mind and guilty act, and therefore A is not going to be punished for offense of murder. It may be he is punished for many other offenses in many other sections, but definitely not under section 302 IPC. A very interesting thing, that is the stages of crime. What is the stages of crime? There is a 4 stages of crime. We have to understand, because for better understanding of actus reus and mens rea, we have to understand what is the stages of crime. And the first stage of crime is that preparation. Oh, absolutely big mistake. A first stage of crime is intention. A has intention to kill B, who is his wife. It is the first stage, meaning thereby guilty mind is a first requisite. Is the first requisite. Intention. Intention means motive. We can say motive. A has motive to kill his wife. That is motive. Once a person got motivated that he has to commit the offense, then he started preparation. He trying to find out in which method, by which weapon he has to commit or do that act to kill to whom he want. That is a preparation. And then third stage is attempt. He has to attempt to commit the offense. Here A may be punished for the attempt of murder of W, means wife, that B. And then fourth stage is commission. Attempts may be fail. In our case, attempts failed. Here he want to kill W with guilty mind, means he has motive, he prepared himself and attempt to commit the offense. But fortunately, B is only got faint, not killed. And again, in another case, in another stage, when he packed B into a bag and thrown into the pond, here initial ingredient, that is motive and intention to kill at that time, is absence. Then further, in a law of tort, there is a very beautiful maxim, ubi jus ibi remedium. Where there is right, where there is where there is injury, there is remedy. Where there is wrong, there is remedy. And in this aspect, when we discuss these principles in details, we will read injuria sine daemonum, injury without damages. Daemonum sine injuria, damage without legal injury. Now, what is injury? Injury may be of two types. Maybe there is loss, it may be amount to injury, but that injury should be legal. Means legal injury without damages without legal injury. We will discuss it of very later. Now we have to understand what the new Criminal Law Amendment Act is in the year 2023. We further discuss this. Then we have to understand what the supreme law of the land, what our constitution is, how it works. And very primarily we have to understand that the part 1 of the constitution forms union, that India is the union of states. That is a part 1 of the constitution says, from article 1 to 4. Then in that nation, that India, constitution describes who is the citizen of India from article 5 to 12, 5 to 11, sorry. And then to the citizen, constitution guaranteed some basic fundamental rights to every citizen. And then again, directive principles of state policy. Constitution further direct the state to do or make such policies. We have to understand the separation of power, that the three wing of the state: executive, legislature, judiciary. How the government is formed, it is a very good time to discuss because Lok Sabha election is going on. What the president is, what is his role, how the Supreme Court works, how the collegium works, how the judges are appointed, and then principle of natural justice. What is the principle of natural justice? Is topic come from administrative law. After discussing all these, we have to discuss President, Governor, Chief Justice of India. There are several constitutional statutory bodies. We have to discuss that also. The reservation policies, parliament, constitutional bodies, world bodies, the basic structure doctrine also. What is the basic structure doctrine? It is a very important. The Keswanand Bharti case gives the basic structure doctrine. What is the concept of rule of law? When we say there is a law, there is a rule of law, rule of constitution, not of any person, not of any authority. And in the last, we will discuss the history and development of our constitution. Further, there are several legal maxims which we have to learn for better understanding of the law. Something like bona fide. Bona fide, we are usually knows this word. It is good faith, sincere. Actio personalis moritur cum persona. A personal action dies with the person. We will explain it. Amicus curiae, friend of court. Audi alteram partem, it is the first principle of natural justice, that hear the other side. Caveat emptor, let the purchaser be aware. What is affidavit? A document sworn by a party before a notary asserting that the content of document are made to the best of signatories' knowledge. Alibi. What is alibi? At another place elsewhere. We will discuss all these chapters. So for today, I am stopping this lecture because I have to explain all these terms. But firstly, we have to start from a very basic, that is legal reasoning from class 1. So stay tuned with us. Subscribe this channel for better preparation of your examination. I promise that I will be a part of your journey to become a law student. Thank you.